Hello, I'm a Greek geek because I'm 50% Greek and 100% a geek. Now, I've been meaning to cover this movie for a while back now, before Dark Crystal Age of Resistance came out, but I failed in that naturally, so I'm talking about it now. So this is your typical 80s fantasy flick. You have good versus evil, an evil dark lord, lords, a quest, a hero, and a prophecy that the hero is going to save the world, and magic, and lots of different races. So typical 80s fantasy. Love it. It has a very basic fantasy plot. Prophesized chosen one, a hero, must rise up and take a smaller MacGuffin to a bigger MacGuffin to stop the evil bird monsters from abusing the Dark Crystal so he can save the world and all of the inhabitants of Thra.
1,000 years ago, this land was green and good, until the crystal cracked. For a single piece was lost, a shard of the crystal.
I really liked the evil Skeksis in this. I read that somewhere that they were kind of inspired by the 7 deadly sins, and there's more than 7 Skeksis in this. I think there's like 11, but you can see with some of them how there's definitely some inspiration for that. And they all have their own very unique looks and own kind of character traits, which is all very interesting, and I really like that. But the Mystics were also pretty cool too, I guess, but they weren't in the movie too much. The 2 Gelfling, Jen and Kira, that were in the movie, they were like pretty bland. Like, I liked Kira more than Jen. Jen is just like the hero, and he's just pretty boring. He just does the quest because he's told to, basically. He doesn't really seem to have a distinct personality. He just goes with the flow of things, and then everything just works out. That's just my personal opinion.
You Gelfling? Like me?
Well, yes.
But I thought I was the only one.
I thought I was.
The voice acting is very good as well. I really liked all the voice actors. Each voice really suits each of the individual Skeksis. Like, I like how the Chamberlain's like always whimpering, is always going all the time. Which is pretty funny. Like, me and my girlfriend were always laughing every time he did that. And I liked the voice of the Gartham general as well. Like, he had a very deep and dark and menacing kind of voice, especially when he proclaims that he's emperor.
I am Emperor!
This movie was directed by Frank Oz and Jim Henson, who you may know as the people who directed every single Muppets movie ever created, pretty much. But Jim Henson did pass away quite a few years ago, so hasn't done anything recently. But they have done fantastic works with puppetry. This movie is no exception, and just the level of puppetry in this movie, it's phenomenal. So this world that's created is a very, very fantastical and interesting world. The world of Thra. It has lots of interesting species. The world looks lived in and so magical. It looks really good, and it has so much potential for lore, and I think that's why they made a TV series working as a prequel to this movie. And that TV series, which I'm going to get to in the next few days, hopefully, covers a lot of the backstory of what happened before the movie, and it shows you how much rich lore there is to this movie.
Are Gelfling alive?
So as I said before, the sets all look really amazing. It's all live action stuff as well, which looks really good. It looks lived in. Like, you even see when they're in forests and stuff, there's like little puppets of little creatures running around and stuff, and it looks really authentic and like a real breathing world. And it has a really amazing attention to detail and so much imagination in it. Obviously, all practical effects. I don't think there was much CGI used except for maybe the effects with the Dark Crystal and such. But all the puppetry in that, so much detail with all the costumes and everything. I'm pretty sure most of the movie has been done with puppets. There are a few wider shots of like a kid or a smaller person in costume when there's a shot of like Jen running away in the distance. But other than that, there's no shots of humans, or there's hardly any shots of humans. And other than that, it's just all puppets. So if you're really into 1980s fantasy, this one is definitely for you. I would definitely recommend checking this one out. Other than the main character being a bit bland, this is a really interesting movie, even just to see the puppetry involved. It is really good. So if you're new to my channel and you're interested in fantasy like me, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I cover a lot of fantasy movies on this channel. I review them as much as I can. And as always, thank you for listening to me ramble on about a movie for a few minutes. I do appreciate it. Thank you again, and I'll catch you next time.